This is Shawn, and I'm here to talk about Atomizer Failure. This is more specifically for the 510 and, of course, the Ego, but I'm sure can pretty much work for a lot of other atomizers. Mainly, we're talking about a three-piece system. What I mean by three-piece system is you have the battery there, and here you have the battery, right? You have the atomizer, and then you have a cartridge. Right, those are the three that you're looking at right there. That is specifically what I'm speaking of right now. The top thing that you're looking at with atomizer failure is, of course, not having enough e-liquid fed to the atomizer itself. What it is deep inside the atomizer that you see right there, there's a little bit of the metallic bridge. There's a little bit of a filament, and that filament sits right above the atomizer itself, and that's what feeds liquid to the atomizer. Well, if there's no liquid to the atomizer itself, it'll quickly burn out. And what happens is that filament sometimes can also get burnt a little bit, and then you get that burnt taste, and it's really harsh on your throat. That is one way to tell that you've burned out your atomizer. Commonly what happens with a lot of people is they will fill up a cartridge that you see right there. Once they fill it up, they'll just smoke on it for a long time, and I don't recommend that. Main reason is the further that the liquid goes down into this cartridge that you have right there, the farther the distance to the atomizer filament, and the more the atomizer has to work. The more the atomizer has to work, the more likely is you may fail this atomizer here because it doesn't have the liquid going to it. So there's two pretty much quick things to look at that you might want to do. First one that I'm going to address is, of course, the cartridge itself. This cartridge here, you see that it has the polyfill. Some people like to call it cotton that you have right there. When you fill up one of these, folks, you want to make sure that the liquid literally pools to the top, and then you're ready to go. Of course, you don't want to fill this up until you want to actually use it, because if you have it pool all the way up, and you stick it in, and then you throw it in your pocket or whatever, if you're leaving it in this one, we just fill this cartridge up, it's going to drip down. It's going to keep on dripping all that liquid down, and then it's going to come out the air holes, and you're going to have a little bit of a mess, so you don't want to do that. So pretty much what we commonly do is fill it up till it pools, and then you put it in there, and then you're going to get a really good throat sensation. You're going to get a really good experience with your electronic cigarette. And that's something that you're actually looking for there. Then what happens is, commonly what most of us do is, once you're hitting that 80%, 85%, you notice a distinct change when you're using your electronic cigarette there. And that change comes where the flavor's still there, and it's you still have vapor coming out, but it's not that specific for that throat hit. The throat hit's not there. The flavor's not as powerful as those first few puffs that you have right there. And that's commonly what most of us will do, is we're just going to top them off. You pop it off, you grab yourself a bottle that you have right there of e-liquid. A lot of times you'll have a really small bottle you'll use with traveling, and you drip usually 2 or 3 drops in there, and you're good to go. That's it, 2 or 3 drops. I compare it to the same thing as lighting a fresh cigarette. It's something that kind of lets me know how long I've been inhaling for, because it's 6-7 drags, all of a sudden that change will happen, and then I make that decision. Do I put it down? Do I throw it back in my pocket, or am I going to top it off? I'm going to go with it again. Something that I have done a little bit later in time is, of course, direct drip, as it's called. Direct drip is when you don't use this to fill the liquid itself. You actually use the atomizer itself, and it's pretty easy. What you do is you literally drip 2, 3, maybe 4 drops. In the beginning, I would say 2 or 3. You don't want to have leakage going on there, and you drip it directly into the atomizer. So you're not using this cartridge anymore for storage of liquid. You're only using it to cap it back on and to inhale with. Now, the 2 to 3 drops, what that's going to give you is pretty much about 6 or 7 drags of something that really tastes good, and then all of a sudden you're going to notice that change. Well, now you have a choice. You either top it off again, you put a couple drops directly into there, or you put it down and then do it a little bit later. One of the useful things is, if you want to try direct dripping, the atomizers. When atomizers get shipped to you, and this is something for new users to know too, this cartridge that you see right here is empty, right? This is the way one gets shipped to you. Number one, there's a bit of filament. You notice it a little bit into this wrapper here, and this is mainly to keep the atomizer fresh and everything that you have right there. You usually want to clean that off a little bit. I've even found that baby wipes work well, and some of your other things that you have right there. And what I'll also do is I'll pop it off and I'll blow through it. And if you may have heard that there's a little bit of a noise. That was a lot of that filament that's going on. Now, as I just did that, here's something that you need to know. I highly recommend that you put 2 or 3 drops right into that atomizer right away, no matter how you're using it, to make sure that that filament always has liquid going to it. Now, here you're going to look into this particular cartridge here, and you're going to notice that there's no cotton fill like a regular cartridge, right? This is only for shipping, folks, right? It's meant to be thrown away. So that is one of those things. I have, of course, heard of a lot of people who have gotten one of new e-cigarettes, and of course what they do is they just, they see it in a package, they put on the battery, and they start inhaling, and they don't put any liquid in at all. They just think that there's liquid there. This is a dummy cartridge, okay? But here's what's good about this. This is one of those things. Remember I was telling you before as far as the direct drip? One of the problems with direct dripping is when you direct drip into there, if you have a cartridge and the polyfill is still in there, the atomizer is naturally going to pull that down, and you're going to notice you're going to pop off your cartridge, and you're going to see some of that polyfill stuck to your atomizer. Well, to avoid that is not to have any polyfill in there because you're not using that. So literally what you do is you do that direct drip, right? You drip a couple of drips there, 2 or 3. You pop that on there, and then you inhale. And it's just that easy. So those are your 2 choices. There is what is called, of course, the drip tip, which is kind of useful. I'm going to hit that up in a new video there, but one thing for you guys to know is you can try this out, just with one of those dummy cartridges to see which one that you like. So I hope that you found this video a little bit interesting. Again, the key to keeping your atomizer, from failing is to always make sure liquid is going to it. That is always the top one that you have right there. So don't let your cartridges get too low. Okay, folks? All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Rope and leg rest, 50 cents to spare. Sometimes I dance all night, sometimes I wouldn't dare.